I need to begin first by telling you a little bit about how the Episcopal Church sets policy, whether it's about sexual matters or any other matter. The Episcopal Church is part of the Worldwide Anglican Communion, but as a national church, it is self-governing. It determines policy on a national level by meeting as a national church every 3 years. It's made up of two houses of bishops, and the House of Bishop is all the active bishops in all the dioceses that make up the Episcopal Church in the United States. The other house is called the House of Deputies, and that house is made up of lay people and clergy representing parishes and dioceses throughout the national church. Policy is set at these conventions by voting. Both houses vote. Policies must pass both houses by majority in order for a policy to be set. Anyone who's ever been to an Episcopal service knows that the Episcopal Church loves things to go decently and in order. Now, the Episcopal Church would love for things to happen that way. In terms of policy, it would love for there to be policy set and actions follow from those policies. But as a matter of historical fact, things have been the exact opposite. Actions have informed policy. This is particularly true about the aspects of sexuality that I'm going to address. It could be argued that Episcopal women have been trying to get ordination for women since the middle of the 19th century. But it also has to be admitted that they didn't get anywhere with that. Now, the historical reasons for that are many, but one of them is the notion that in the church, as well as the broader society, did not believe in the equality of the sexes. So that when a woman who felt a call to the ministry in the Episcopal Church approached the church, that it might go through the process of discerning whether that's a genuine call, was dismissed out of hand simply because she's a woman. That changed in the 60s. The argument that was the basis, or at least I will claim is the basis of a feminist movement in the 60s, was that on moral grounds, not on biological grounds, on moral grounds, the sexes are equal. In the Episcopal Church, its membership really was persuaded by those moral arguments for equality of the sexes. And if the sexes are equal, that means that you cannot make gender distinctions based on social roles and even roles that are offices of the church. A lot of Episcopalians started agreeing with that position, so much so that it was brought before convention at the national level as a resolution that women should be able to be ordained. It failed, 1970. In 1973, it came before the convention again, and it failed again. So, in 1974, 11 women in Philadelphia got together with two bishops that were active and one retired, and those bishops ordained what has now been called the Philadelphia 11. That set up chaos in a church that loves order. Some people called it irregular. Some people called it illegal. Bishops were outraged. They said they wouldn't accept it. In 1976, at the National Convention, a resolution to ordain women was presented, and it passed. Actions informed policy. It might be, and I think it is, because the Episcopal Church started accepting the notion of the equality of the sexes, that it soon moved to equality of sexual orientation. The Episcopal Church had for many, many years been ordaining gay people. But the policy of doing so was under the policy of don't ask, don't tell. Same policy that our federal government had for the military until very recently. That policy was disrupted by an action. The action was the election of an openly gay man in the Diocese of New Hampshire. Now, the National Church looked at that and said, it was done according to the canons of the Church. It's legal. But it caused chaos, not only in the Episcopal Church, but in the worldwide Anglican Communion as well. That action, while not precipitated a policy change in the diocese or in the national church, ended forever the policy of don't ask, don't tell. And that became clear in 2010 when the Diocese of Los Angeles elected for the first time an openly gay woman to be bishop of the Diocese of Los Angeles. I think that the extreme changes that the Episcopal Church is going through in terms of this issue is going to, if the trend is any example, to be not only accepting of women to the ordained ministry, which is pretty much settled after over 35 years, that it will eventually also see that the ordination of openly gay people is part of who we are. Another big issue that the church is dealing with and yet has set policy on is same-sex marriages. Now, it's difficult for the church to make a policy on this on a national level when it couldn't do anything about it anyways, because the laws of the state determine whether or not gay marriage is legal. Perhaps you know that the state of New York has recently made same-sex marriage legal. So there's no policy. But that doesn't mean there aren't actions that will inform policy. One of the biggest dioceses in the Episcopal Church is the Diocese of Massachusetts. And that state does have same-sex marriage as legal. Earlier this year, I'm about ready to end. Earlier this year, the bishop of the Diocese of New Hampshire, who, by the way, is a monk in Anglican orders, his name is Tom Shaw, married the dean of my seminary, the Episcopal Divinity School in Cambridge, Massachusetts. She is openly gay. And he married her to an openly gay woman who is on the staff of the diocese. This is the action. Will it be policy? Well, only time will tell. But if I was a predictor, then the trend is towards policy recognizing gay marriages. Thank you.